Today, as you have been told, I'm taking you all the way to Sierra Leone, the Lion Mountain. From there, I will take you to England, bring you to the Gold Coast, today called Ghana, and take you straight back to Sierra Leone. Sierra Leone simply means Lion Mountain. Sierra is mountain. Leon is lion. My brother, my sister, today we're talking about a woman whose life is about to blow you clean. If you are ready, I am more than just ready, and I need you to come along. Today we're talking about Adelaide Kesley Hayford. Her name, or her birth name before marriage, was Adelaide Smith. My brother, my sister, she worked so hard. In fact, the Queen of England recognized her with an award of knighthood. She had an MBE, the most excellent order of the British Empire. Hallelujah. Adelaide Kesley Hayford. She was born on the 2nd of June, 1868. And she was born, my brother, my sister, right there in Freetown, at the time called British Sierra Leone. In fact, she loved education. Right from the start, her parents decided to take her to school. She attended the Jersey Ladies College, now Jersey College for Girls. My brother, my sister, that was where she went to school. And she stood out whilst in school. She and her sisters were the only black students at Jersey College for Girls. My brother, my sister, in New Jersey, America. After attending school in Freetown, they were sent all the way to study in England. They came from a rich family. The Smiths were more than averagely wealthy, at least by black people's standards. My brother, my sister, she and her sisters were the only black students in America, New Jersey, saying Jersey College for Girls. And there, she stood out, showing and portraying her power of kindness. As she wrote later in life, what did we know of racial prejudice and an inferiority complex? Nothing. But we did know a lot about the milk of human kindness. My brother, my sister, she arrived in America without knowing anything called prejudice, anything called racial discrimination. She only arrived with a clean African heart. And there she tasted racial discrimination for the first time. Like many other Sierra Leonean women born into the elite society, she was deeply influenced by Victorian values and ideas of family and, of course, gender roles. Hey, in America, her instincts sharpened up. She saw racial discrimination, and then she pushed and plunged herself into the world of black awareness, what you would call Pan-Africanism. Oh my God. At the age of 17, just 17, our heroine for today, Adelaide Smith, as she was called then, made it to Stuttgart in Germany to study music at the Stuttgart Conservatory. My brother, my sister, after her completion, she returned to England, where she and her sister opened a boarding home for African bachelors living in the country as students or workers. Can you imagine this? Two ladies came together from Sierra Leone in Africa, based in England. Now they knew so much about England, even as teenagers. They decided to open a certain home, boarding home, and it was strictly for single men, bachelors. My God. I'll tell you more about this in a bit. Why it was only for unmarried men, better still single men, better still bachelors. Oh gosh. Now during a speech in 1905, 4 years before Kwame Nkrumah was born, she emphasized the importance African women could have in society and political development. 2 years later, in 1907, 2 years before Nkrumah was born, she returned to the Gold Coast, now called Ghana. Why did she come to Ghana? Now, my brother, my sister, they opened a boarding house in England for unmarried women, men, bachelors. Because at the time, it was so hard to see females from Africa in England there getting education. They were the only black people, she and her sisters, in the school that they found themselves as black people in a white land. They saw the discrimination black people went through, especially African people, and they decided to ameliorate the problems, the suffering of these black men. A lot of those who came, my brother, my sister, were married in one way or the other, and they were allowed to come with their wives. At least their wives cooked for them. Their wives gave them a lot of comfort, including warmth in the bed. My brother, my sister. But the bachelors had nobody to cook for them, nobody to keep them warm in the cold American nights. So these ladies, who were also single, decided to develop this great opportunity. For all you know, they might just cite a bachelor who was fitting enough, befitting to be their husbands. Hallelujah. My brother, my sister. And it happened. While in England, operating the bachelor's house, there was a man who came from the Gold Coast, from another elite family, the Kesley Hayfords. And this was J.E. Kesley Hayford, who we talked about only last week. Joseph Ephraim Kesley Hayford, my brother, my sister. That's the man you can see here on the screen. Very handsome man. In fact, because of Pan-Africanism, he dropped his name, the Kesley Hayford, and picked up Ekra Ajimai. So in America, he was called Ekra Ajimai. Ekra Ajimai. And a lot of them would just say Ekra Agiman. Ekra Agiman. Agiman. So some people spelt it A-G-I-M-A-N. But it was actually Ajimai. A-G-Y-E-M-A-N. He also came around England as a bachelor. My brother, my sister. But not entirely a bachelor. My brother, my sister, you know what he did? He heard about the bachelor home. And he heard about how people were getting, in fact, properly housed. And he took a trip to the bachelor's house. And there he met these beautiful ladies from Sierra Leone. Of course, he had a wife at the time. But too much meat does not spoil the soup. So he decided that he might be able to do something. At the time, my brother, my sister, he was married to Beatrice Madeline Pinnock, who was actually Dutch. She was Dutch. And when he saw the black woman, he probably told himself, how is the black meat the same as the white meat? The white meat, is it the same as the black meat? Okay, he wanted to test, and find out. So he married this woman, my brother, my sister. Our heroine for today, Adelaide Smith, married J.E. Kesley Hayford, aka Ekra Ajimine, right there in England. Oh my God. She admired this man so much. He was full of knowledge. He knew so much African history. And she was almost like a student to this guy. Oh God. The marriage immediately happened. And when it happened, together they started engaging in the Pan-African War right from England. Aye. My brother, my sister, in no time, bam, she got pregnant. Bam, she gave birth to a beautiful Kesley Hayford called Gladys Kesley Hayford. Aish! Sierra Leonean, Ghanaian, mixed blood. Ish. But she preferred to be called a Gold Coaster at the time. My brother, my sister, she changed her name from Gladys May Kesley Hayford to Aqua Laloa. Aqua Laloa. She took after her father and mother. She became an astute writer, an author, and also a very powerful Pan-Africanist. She wrote in Creole, in English, and even more. My brother, my sister, unfortunately, in 1914, Kwame Nkrumah was only 5 years old. Adelaide and J.E. Kesley Hayford's marriage failed. In fact, they were involved in so many different things. They couldn't really find time for each other. And they decided that parting ways would just be okay. Because a time came when the lady said, you know what? I think we have done enough and I really want to settle as a family woman. I'm not growing younger. The man said, no, there's so much work to be done. I need to do more. We need to move around and do more. She said, no, enough of the movement. Disagreements here and there, so they parted ways. She returned to Sierra Leone without a husband. My brother, my sister. But she had something wonderful to show. Deep Pan-African roots, cultural nationalism, and feminism. Oh gosh, what a man can do, a woman can do. My brother, my sister, she won so many awards from the colonial government in recognition of her contribution to the people of Sierra Leone. In 1935, she was awarded the King's Silver Jubilee Medal. In 1949, I was not born. She received the MBE that I told you about earlier. Asteroid 6848 Kesley Hayford, discovered by American astronomers Eleanor Helen and Schlide Boss at the Paloma Observatory in 1978, was named in her memory. My brother, my sister, they saw her as a powerful black woman who pushed the boundaries. Now, the official naming citation was published by the Mirror Planet Center on the 27th of August, 2019. Today, we remember this great black woman. She wrote poems. She wrote books. My brother, my sister, She divorced in 1914. She had only one child. She died, my brother, my sister, on the 2nd, 24th of January, 1960, at the age of 91. 1960, at the age of 91. My brother, my sister, whilst her husband died as early as 1930, 30 years earlier. My brother, my sister, today we remember this great black woman. We remember this wonderful black woman. Oh my God. Powerful black woman. We remember Adelaide Kesley Hayford. She was 2 years younger than her husband. She lived 30 years more after her husband passed on. My brother, my sister, she went ahead to educate people through her writings and public speeches. In fact, there was a time she was even invited by the Queen of England and some other such people in England, and she appeared in a full Ghanaian kente. Full Ghanaian kente, as you see her here. In fact, to portray her culture, she became the symbol of African culture right there in England. People respected her and gave her the honor that she deserved. Today we remember one of our very own who stood for our culture, our heritage. At a time that many despised us, at a time many said we were nothing. Mami, ata. Oh. She died at the age of 91 on the 24th of January 1960. Nkrumah loved her. Nkrumah was finding a way of bringing her to Ghana. But she said she was too old to relocate. She died in 1960 whilst Nkrumah was still president. And Nkrumah wrote in her honor, Mami, Unyaminko. Yeah, Mami. Today when we talk about the Kesley Hayfords, it's because of this woman and her husband who had Gladys, who also went ahead to make more children. Today we remember you, oh Mami. We remember you. The Kesley Hayford family was also enlarged because of Beatrice Madeline Pinnock, the first wife. They had children: Archie Kesley Hayford, Gladys Mary Kesley Hayford, Connie Elizabeth Kesley Hayford. In fact, 3 children this strong Kesley Hayford had from his 2 wives and beyond. Mami, in the burden of knowledge, I ask you, now that you know the story of Adelaide Kesley Hayford, what would you do? Be an ole mini obafe yazunda kagane mezaka yine ya pabango bukaya nang fifia yanyano kaina wo bana enwe beden lele anjima singa be kunne lele anjima singa beri. It's been the African history class